Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Star Talk, Comic Star Talk. First episode in. I am Kevco Tweets. This is EXO DCU EXO. How's it going, man?
I'm good. EXO
Good.
Wave, simply called EXO. I'm
Sounds
here,
good.
just talk comics, things we
Cool.
love.
This is just our intro episode, so we're just gonna get into what got our love of comics going. So for me, it was I saw because I'm much older than EXO here. Batman Returns in theater. I was about 7. Um, and that's what got me started. From there, I started picking up random comics, Batman mostly. But I never got a full story arc until I was much later because I'd just be random comics. I would be like issue 13 of whatever story they were running at the time. But yeah, I grew up reading mostly Batman. Did not get into Superman until Man of Steel, which EXO knows about. I did not really care about reading Superman. I was one of those people that always thought it was boring and was never a huge fan of the older movies. So I just never really clicked with me. And then when I saw Man of Steel is when I got into the animated stuff and everything else that went along with Superman, which of course we are gearing up for here soon with the start of the DCU. Um, so EXO, where did your love of superheroes begin?
Well, it was simple. Like, started from my babysitter. I would watch all the Batman movies, talking to the Keaton ones and Returns, and even Batman and Robin was one of my favorites growing up. Watch them on repeats. My parents used to go to this bar near our town, and right next to it was this nice shop. So I would just wander in there, and I would pick up like Kev did, just single issues. Never really had a full run until later in my life. But I was reading comics for a long time until like middle school. Then I stopped, and now I'm older now, and I've picked the comics back up, and here we are.
Yep. Yeah, that happened to me too. I kind of fell off in high school, as far as reading goes, because I was trying to accomplish other things socially and stopped reading in high school. Of course, when I was in high school, comics movies weren't huge. Um, we basically had, by the time I got into high school, was coming off Batman and Robin, and we know how that movie went. We had like Blade, eventually Spider Man, and whatnot. But yeah, then I started picking up again around the age of 27, 28. So
Yeah, that's 26 is about the age, or 25. I started
yeah,
rereading at 25. I'm
nice,
28 now.
nice.
I was reading manga before I went back to comics, and then I ran out of manga, and now I can't go back. I've been loving this journey. I've been loving these DC comics. It's great. And yeah, on that note, who's your favorite character to read, Kev?
All time, definitely Batman. As I just got into, I read
Hmm.
a lot of Batman, but I'm kind of leaning Superman at the moment. I've been reading a lot of him too, but Batman, more than most. I just like the fact that he is just a guy with
Yeah,
a lot of money, but he's just a guy. Um, and that always appealed to me, which is kind of like I know Spider Man has powers and whatnot, but he also too is just like kind of a kid at the same time, while also having
hmm
a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. Because I used to read a lot of random Spider-Man also back in the day because the animated show was on, and same with X-Men. Never really read any full runs of either of them though up to this date, outside of one or two Spider-Man arcs. What about you? Fair character all time to read?
yeah. Of course, it's the GOAT, Batman. He's just every time I pick up a Batman book, I'm like, this is my favorite character. And I just love his philosophy of like he should be the insane person, but instead he is using it for good
Mm-hmm.
and trying to change Gotham, which I live in a place is close to what Gotham would be, and I think that's pretty cool. He's always been the coolest looking character. Growing up, Batman was that guy dressed up as him 3 times in Halloween. I have
Awesome.
pictures. We'll get pictures of that later.
Yeah, we'll have to do that maybe around the time Halloween kicks off. Um,
Yeah, but I'm reading a lot of Superman now because I'm in my Superman era.
Yep.
But every time I go back to a Batman, I'm like, this is my guy. But yeah,
Yep,
tell us what
100%.
we're currently
I'm
reading.
currently reading a lot of Superman as well. I'm about to start War World. I'm reading Luther also. We'll be talking about that in a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, and I do want to read the ones I have not read from Batman that I've been looking forward to for like 30 years to read is the Nightfall series. So I'll probably be digging into
Oh,
that soon.
I actually wanted to reread that, so
Super.
we're on the same
We'll do
page.
reviews. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to read that. I've never read it. Obviously that's where the infamous Bane breaks his back.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
one of the full stories I read when I was a child.
mhm.
Like that was one of the first full stories, and I was like, dang,
Nice. Nice.
resonated. So I can't wait to revisit
Yeah,
that.
sounds good. We'll have to do that. We'll have to review it up on this channel. What is
Yeah,
your most anticipated DCU project?
I mean, for me, it's got to be Supergirl with Millie Alcock. I love the casting. I was gunning for her
Hmm.
to be Supergirl, and
We
her
both were.
attitude and acting is just perfectly made for the character. Been reading a lot of Supergirl, so it's Supergirl is like one of my top five characters I love. I
Yeah,
love
me
Supergirl.
too.
So to see her being played by somebody I personally wanted is just amazing. I am over the
Awesome.
moon about that. And with Batman, I'm just loading. I'm just loading right now, waiting on anything.
Sounds good.
What about
Yeah,
you?
for me, it is also Supergirl. I mean, first off, it's probably Superman. This is the first time since I became a fan of Superman that there's a new Superman movie. So I'm
Hmm.
most anticipating that, but I'm most curious about Lanterns. Um, as you know, I love Kyle Chandler's casting. Um, he should be a fantastic Hal. It's just odd that Hal's going to be so old in this. I love the casting of Sinestro also, and of course Jon Stewart, which we all saw Rebel Ridge this summer. And
Yeah, I haven't yet,
yeah.
but
Oh,
it's
you
on
haven't
my
watched that yet?
list.
Okay, yeah, you'll have to
No,
watch that
no.
before Lanterns. But
Yeah,
he's
definitely will.
fantastic in that movie.
I
Hundred
was gonna
percent.
watch the was it True Detective season
Yep.
one? That's what I also have to watch.
Yes, you have to throw on at least the first episode of that. That show is
Yeah,
incredible. The first season is easily a top 10 season TV all time.
yeah. I started Jeff Johns' run for this
Nice.
series, and it's great so far. I had to put my brakes on because I'm in that Superman era.
Yep. We
Superman,
have plenty of
and
time to get
Superman.
to Green Lantern and more Wonder Woman
Yeah,
before, I mean, more Supergirl before that comes out.
yeah.
Um, what is one villain and one good guy you want to see in the DCU that has not yet been announced or teased?
Well, my number one is Nightwing, Dick Grayson, Robin. It doesn't matter which one, Nightwing or Robin. I just want Dick Grayson. That's my guy. I remember reading his origin comic. It was like this one issue that I just read over and over and over again as a kid. So when the series came out, the Teen Titans series, that was my favorite character, and that's one of my favorite animated series. So
Nice.
definitely Dick Grayson. And with villains, it's my girl Harley. If you see back there that
I guess
way,
she's a villain.
that's I guess I would love to see her arc. I don't know what they're gonna do with Margot Robbie. She doesn't need to be, and I know people are sick of her, but I'm not. I love her. I can never be sick of her. So I would love to see her just sprinkled in there, and any of the sirens really.
Hmm.
Just get the female presence going, and
Yeah.
it'd be awesome.
Those are two good choices. For me,
Yeah.
I would like as a villain, I'd really like Brainiac to be involved in the DCU.
I was going to say
Um,
Brainiac.
he's hasn't really been teased, but it's just kind of rumored that he'll be out there. But I don't think he'll be
Mhm.
seen in Superman. But they might allude to him a little bit with Lex or whatever happens with the Fortress. For good guys, Green Arrow is my number one. Would want to see. Haven't seen
Okay.
him. Haven't seen a true version of him technically in live action. We got the Arrow show, which I will still contend is two of the best seasons of comic book television. The first two, anyways. I would put it right up against any other comic book show. I love the first two seasons of Arrow. So most importantly, I would like to see him announced or appear in a project. Um, So hopefully we get that at some point. So
Yeah,
like,
I'm not big on Green Arrow, but I will give him the chance. I love DC characters. So like I'm open to getting to know the character,
yeah, I mean,
even though
I like
he's
him a
not
lot
my
because
favorite.
similar to Batman, he's just a regular guy that can
Hmm.
just shoot a bow and arrow really well. Doesn't really have any special superpowers or anything, so that's cool. But yeah, that's one reason why I want to see him. Him and Batman interact. We've been watching a lot of the animated stuff, and the way they
Yeah,
interact with
yeah.
each other is great. In all of
Oh
that,
yeah,
the way
I
Arrow interacts with
need
everyone.
to. Yeah, what was the last one we just watched? The
Crisis Two.
Crisis 2.
Yep.
He was very good in that.
Yes.
I
Tr-
liked him in
I
that.
want to see a traditional Green Arrow in the DC universe. 1,000%.
Well, he's an important character. Like I
He
grew
is.
up on uh JLU, Justice League Unlimited, where people usually that's where they found their love for the character.
Mhm.
Me, not so much, but again, I have open mind.
Yep. Yep. Um, Now, of course, we just ended on Creature Commandos. We plan to do a full video here coming up. Um,
Mhm.
but what are your initial thoughts on the Creature Commandos?
So I wasn't expecting too much, but I did have high expectations. I know it's a little
It's
contradictory, but it was a
very
nice
contradictory.
little. It was something nice to start the universe with this hardcore,
Hmm.
R-rated, in your face, badass show that James wanted to do, but he got denied, and
Hmm.
now he's in control. So he said, "I'm doing it," and
Yep.
it's a nice little 7 episode series. And with I'm calling it his Task Force trilogy with Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. It kind of feels the same, but is its own at the same time. And just to get something
Mhm.
before Superman that's
Yep.
animated, and to get little sneak peeks of David Cornsweet's Superman, Batman, even Wonder Woman was on a spike. Just to get that right before Superman is really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I can see why people were turned off by it. The animation's a little wonky if you're not used to it. Like there's easy things to pick apart if you wanted to, but
Yeah.
for me, it was just a appetizer before you get a steak dinner type deal.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
something to give you a little taste of what's to come. A lot of people had an issue with it starting the DC universe, and I get that. It's an animated R-rated project, um, so I could see why people would
See,
be go
I
against that.
applaud it
But
for that because
yes,
of
at
it.
the same time, it's gutsy to throw this out there, and of course it was picked up for a season two.
Yeah, that just
So
was officially confirmed today, I
yep.
believe.
And James was working on this before he got the job at DC, which we know. And it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
probably going to be greenlit by whoever was running DC if he never got involved. Um,
yeah.
yeah, overall, enjoyed it. We'll be doing a full breakdown at some point here coming up,
Mhm.
like we will do for all of the DCU projects and trailers and whatnot, whatever news we get coming across our feed. Um, and we are going to be reviewing the Luther comic, which
Yeah. Let me get the
is, yep,
comic real quick. I
yep.
got the absolute for you.
But yes, this is the comic that Nicholas Holt based his performance on for Superman. And while he's getting out the absolute book is actually really nice looking,
So
really
it's
beautiful.
both the Joker
Yep.
and so we got this here. Let me sit back down real quick. There's a lot of good art in here. Let me see if I could just find a random page
Yes,
where it
I'm about
shows.
halfway through, but I was just saying, this is the book that Nicholas Holt based his performance on for Superman, when he was
uh,
on a podcast.
Some
But yes,
nice,
and this whole thing
nice
is about,
art.
from what I can gather, anyways, Lex Luthor's hatred for Superman and why does everyone love him and not me? And got a little Bruce Wayne in there, so I look forward to picking that up as soon as we're done talking
Yeah,
here. It's it's been a good
Definitely a
book.
good read. I
Yeah.
like seeing the villain's perspective.
Hmm.
We lack that a lot. We
Yes.
view the heroes and
Hmm.
their motives, obviously, because they're the ones to love. But
Yes.
I also like getting into the psyche of the villain
Oh, me too.
to
Um,
see their motives. That's because
MCU
that's
did it.
important.
MCU did it a few times. Killmonger and Thanos, of course, the two that stick out. Where they kind of get you to kind of relate to the villains while keeping them a villain at the same time. And you get to see their motivations come through. And so this
Yeah,
book has been fun for that. Um, Definitely, and I can't wait to read more of it.
that that's what the DCU needs to do is
Hmm.
like keep the bad guys. Stop bringing the heart to it. Yeah, I love Black Label. I'm glad you put that picture up.
Yeah, that's a great
Black
photo.
Label comics are
Hmm.
always hit. Like I said, it's both a Joker and
What's the
I'm not
Joker one? That's not One Bad Day, is it?
here, I'm not sure. 'Cause I got it for the
Luther one, right?
yeah. So it's
Is it the
Absolute
Killing Joke
Joker.
or
Mm. How do you pronounce his last name? It's Brian Azzarelli.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it just says
Azzarello.
Absolute Joker is what it's
Okay,
called. So it's just called Joker, and this is
cool.
Luther by both Brian Azzarelli.
Yeah. It's a good book. It's quick. We'll do a full breakdown once I'm through with it. But yeah, so coming up on Star Talk,
Hmm.
we knew this would be a quick show. We're just doing a quick introduction for y'all. But we will be doing a trailer breakdown of Superman.
Yep, of
However many
course.
trailers come out, the trailer and the TV spot eventually. Even though we're a little bit behind the times, just getting started here.
Yeah,
Um,
just
our
launching up.
Creature Commandos episode. That'll be a fun time. We'll talk about all the backstories and get your hot takes on who's got the most tragic of said backstories.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's a good talking point. Everybody has a different answer.
yep, that is true. And yeah, we'll be doing the Luther review. So stay tuned. All that stuff will be coming up. Um, but a couple of things I did want to show here was you gave me some slides to go over, of course. Um, and some of the stuff we're really looking forward to talking about in the future would be when
Uh,
Superman
I
launches.
love, I love
The
that
Lois,
shot.
that shot is really good. It's a really good shot of Superman and Lois. Yeah, I can't wait for this movie. I can't wait. We will be glazing the DCU here a little bit, so get used to that.
I call it, I call it validated praise,
Yes,
justified
we
praise.
both enjoyed the DCEU when Snyder was doing his thing, but it kind of fell towards the wayside there in the last couple of momovies.
Yeah,
And even though
we
we
both
saw them all, I mean, they were what they were.
we recognize the flaws.
Yes,
Let's just
yes,
say that, like
100%.
without dunking on it.
Yep, 1000%.
But we'll be here the whole time. I'll be posting fan art and just DCU stuff on my Twitter,
Yep.
DCUXO. So follow that if you want some
There is
more
a
of
ton of
my.
fan art too. If you go to his page, he has posted pretty much all of it. Um, and I really like the shot of Luther you gave me too. Also, um,
Yeah, that this is
I
one of
like that
the
one.
covers for the Luther comic.
Oh,
I think it's
nice,
cover number 2. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, the absolute must be beautiful to look at.
Oh yeah, yeah. These absolute books, as you can see, I'm trying to collect a bunch.
Yep. Yeah, the absolutes are nice. The only one I have right now is Kingdom Come. That was a good one. It was like half off when I got it. So because the absolutes
Mm.
can be kind of expensive.
Yeah, yeah, absolutes are definitely expensive. These I found at like a lower price, which I like. The most expensive one was the Jeff Johns Superman one I got,
Oh yeah.
which wasn't like it was a little lackluster. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I think I paid like 50 for my Kingdom Come. But I know you're not a big fan of Alex Ross, but I love that book and the art in that book. And I think there's a
I
documentary coming out about it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm stoked about that. I love Kingdom Come. I love the story. His art's great.
Oh, you do
I
like his
love
okay.
his
I thought you
I
told me
love
once
his
you didn't
art.
care for his art. Okay.
It's just not my preferred style.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
I mean,
Dan Mora is my preferred style, like that cartoony look, but
yep.
with absolute detail in the
Yeah.
background, stunning detail. That's what I prefer for my
Okay.
comics.
Yeah. I like the art in that, but I couldn't read every comic like that. It would get old fast if they all looked like water
Oh
paintings.
yeah, yeah. I love different. Jim Lee does some great work.
Mm,
Um, I think Dan Mora took his place in my favorite book though. I had Jim Lee first, but Dan Mora with the World's Finest. That's
okay.
so clean and
Yeah.
Absolute
That's
Power.
nice.
It's so beautiful. Like I need I was reading. I'm starting to read his Dawn of DC because I read Superman #1 and I didn't really like it, but he's doing #4 with that has Lois as Superwoman as she
Okay.
was in All Star Superman,
Okay. Yeah. 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 Where she
done
gets his
by Dan
powers.
Mora.
Okay.
So I'm
Awesome.
interested in that. So I'm reading that. That's
Nice.
gonna be
Nice.
fun.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
Well, fun first episode. We only went about 20 minutes or so, but
yeah,
thanks for tuning in, and there'll be more to come.
we got a lot more to come. Love to see you.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.